if you want to start.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dan Draper. I'm running for VP Student Activities. Current third year psychology student. I'm an active sports member myself. I play in one team and I have played another team in the past. I have not been as active in society as I wish, but I do have a lot of friends within societies and I am very passionate about the societies that DMU has. I want to run for this position because I believe that all extracurricular activities will benefit students. I think getting involved is great, especially when you're studying, because studying takes a lot out of people. So having that extra release, that's something that you can do, something that just takes your mind off studying is great. And I think it should be massively participated in by as many students, as possible. That's why I'm running for VP Student Activities.
Hello, I'm Stephen Burrell. I'm running for VP of Student Activities as well. I feel I'm third year and I've been part of the rugby clubs for all 3 years, and I feel that my experience through enjoyment through a society is important to everyone. It's given me confidence in certain areas of my degree as well, bringing that into the side. I've become more confident with talking to people and getting involved. I feel if I can give that experience to someone else, I feel that would be more beneficial to them afterwards as well. It's good to put on your CV as well that you've been part of society. You can build your confidence through that. I feel that at the end of a 3-year course, I think that through joining society, you get the most experience out of being at a university.
Hi, I'm Chethan. I'm doing my master's in design innovation in fashion designing field. And I'm into sports and art form, like I'm in cricket and I'm an Indian classical dancer. I'm standing for VP Student Activities.
Thank you.
My name's Oliver Healey and I'm standing for Vice President Student Activities. Primarily is because since I've been here at this university, I've not seen the benefit of people who have disabilities, such as mine, which is Asperger's, which you wouldn't know I had the disability if I didn't tell you. Increase the participation of people with physical and non-physical disabilities in sport and societies, because there's something seriously wrong when people come to university who haven't had this sort of social interaction skills and are left to fend for themselves. There's something seriously wrong with that.
Thank you. So for the first question, I'm going to start with William again, and we're going to work back towards me. So my first question is, what is the one manifesto point from your manifesto that you want to achieve the most?
Broadening out the range of activities that are available, because as I've been told before, that they're student-led, but if the students can't find like-minded students to form a society, are we to then just to kick their what they want to do into the long grass? Being in mind, the student union belongs to every single student, and so we should take that on board.
Thank you.
Every person has their own talents, skills and abilities that makes them unique and special. But as per I know, only 20% of the students come up and show up their skills and talents, but 80% of the students just back out by not showing and they hide it out. So I want to make sure that among the 80%, at least 60% come out and show their skills and show their ability and talents to the outside world, and increase the capacity and inspire a shift in culture, and provide them excellent service for the students.
Thank you.
My main point I wanted to raise was to get students more involved in volunteering. I feel at the time I've been here there hasn't been enough societies or sports clubs getting involved in volunteering. I made a point about getting sports clubs talking to their governing bodies, getting coaching courses to them to build in and taking that back to the community. So I feel that volunteering I would like to improve if I get elected.
My main point is generally participation across all fields of extracurricular activity, whether it be through sports societies, RAG, or volunteering. I think Chris and Inform have done a great job at raising the profile of activities within the Students' Union. I believe that with an extra push, we can raise participation even further. I think that's quite important.
Brilliant. Okay, my second question. Part of being an executive officer is working with the university to achieve collaborative goals. How will you aim to build networks across the institution? So if we start with Steve and work away from me.
Well, to work with collaborations, as you said, I'd talk to each, try and build links between me and the societies, and then move forward to speak to the Vice-Chancellor, see what he can do, and then also looking at going to the local community as well to build links between local sports clubs and local government to see if I can get students involved with them as well.
Thank you.
I would make sure that each and every society has one important person in that, and I'll make a easy access with them and make sure what the problems are and take to the Vice Chancellor and sort out the problems and make sure that society also increases and moves on well.
Thank you.
In regard to this, I'd firstly like to see the Vice Chancellor and see what with this campus redevelopment and that, and how we could include what he was planning to provide for the students, and then we go and consult the students and right, this is what's been doing, this is what's going on. What would you like to be here? And so consult them like in a referendum or a questionnaire, see what they want to be involved in, and then slowly build up the networks with the local community in that, and get more interaction between the two sides.
Thank you.
I think that communication between clubs, sports and societies and the exec officers has up to now been fairly good. I think that exec officers need to be more communicative with the outside university, outside of the SU. I think that communicating with lecturers, even down to support staff, is very crucial to what we do, and definitely the local community as well. Leicester is a part of. We're part of a great city, and I think that local community has a lot to offer as we've got a lot to offer them.
Thank you. I've got one more question, so can't we start with Chethan and work towards me. Funding is a huge issue across the board for student activities here at DMU. Although the budget will be built before you come into power, how will you aid the direction of that funding, and where do you think it should go the most?
When a particular funding is given to a society, so I'll make sure that the funding goes to the particular society or to the or it will be distributed to the societies equally. Make sure that the society builds up with more students and get more out of it by going and approaching for other universities and getting nice feedbacks to the students.
Thank you. Steve?
As Chris has already said, the budget will be sorted, but I would look to build links between the governing bodies of of the sports clubs, so that they can probably put some more money into the sports. Also building what Martin's done this year with the one brand system, try and build the sports clubs as a one brand system and try and get sponsorship, a major sponsor in, hopefully, to promote and give money to the societies rather than them going out to try and get their own money. It's someone, I can do that for them, and then they can build on from there.
Thank you.
The budget being pre-organised, I think it's important to help the facility for all extracurricular activities and help build upon the facilities that we have here and to make it more accessible for students.
With regard to the budget that has already been set, to ensure that, if I was elected, to ensure that the funds that are available are allocated proportionally, fairly, because as other societies, so some societies have raised questions with me that it seems to be that sport seems to be getting a lot more of the funding than they have. So we need to have a thing where it should be equal funding, or depending on how many people have gotten it, but near enough equal funding, and also to look into bringing in outside sponsorship for societies as well as the sport clubs. They get that anyway because sport teams, but the society, especially some of the smaller ones, need to look into see about how we could raise extra funding for them.
Thank you. Right, so I'm going to open it to the floor now. If you've got any questions, just raise your hand.
Yeah, there hasn't really been talk about Raise and Give Week, and under your portfolio, this will come under your portfolio, so it's probably one of Chris's main focuses this year. So I just want to know how you'll try and make it better this year by sort of increasing more participation and obviously raising more money.
Stop that.
Well, one of the points in the manifesto was trying to increase the profile of Raise and Give. I think that RAG should be one of the biggest weeks on the DMU calendar. I think that sports teams have had a fairly good participation in it this year. I think we can always increase participation from sports teams, and societies have really got involved. But I think it's getting participation from students that are not particularly in a sport or society, getting them involved into it as well. Because I feel that sports teams and societies, that is angled towards them rather than entirety of DMU.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Dan there. Basically, I've seen that there's been a huge amount of effort from sports clubs this year in terms of their efforts, but I would try and get more involved in the other societies, try and get them, talking to them a little bit more about how they could offer an event during that week to build on their profile as well, to get more people involved in those societies.
I've seen sports having more the people coming to the society, and I wanted the same kind. I wanted the art form also to come and make sure an international society is also increased and more students pull inside and give more RAG to give this one.
Raise and Give is an extremely good thing, and it sort of feels my thing to see that students help raise funds for charity. The work I do on behalf of the homeless in this city is go to the sports teams and the societies, exec officers, and say, right, we've got an idea for how to raise some, build on success of previous years, raise funds. What charities would you like to raise the money for? And have you got any ideas how we can organise an event? And then our job would be to facilitate it if elected, type thing.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Go to the back.
So the two chaps on the left, both of you have said that you'd like to proportionally give funding to other societies rather than just sport. But I don't think you take into account that being a new university that wants to grow and get bigger, we have to compete well at sport and compete well at bucks to give ourselves a bigger standing on the national stage university standard, and also with equipment needed and the different requirements for different sports are needing different amount of money, as opposed to some societies where a low budget could be more appropriate. How do you counteract that with the criteria needed to be able to compete and do well at bucks?
We'll start with the chaps on the left. Do you want to?
In regard to that question, the university, not as I take point on board about the sports side, but we can't just base the standard of the university on sporting alone. Because I'm a member of the Montfort University Football Club, but I don't play football because I physically can't play. And we need to be broadened out, because the sports teams, they can get external funding from sponsors and that, as many of them do. But the societies, for example, much smaller societies should be included, also included in the fair funding as well, because many of them are quite small.
Time. Sorry.
I know that sports boost up the name of the society. The same way other societies also boost up the name of the society, like in the same dance and fashion shows and all this stuff. So like I said, I just wanted to distribute the funding to not only to sports, to every society which is coming up.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, as you said about splitting it, sports and societies. I feel that obviously sports does have a huge effect on the university, but societies we look at as he's mentioned, you've got fashion shows, you've got dance shows. There is still needs for that funding to lower societies, but I feel that if we can try and distribute it proportionally, that would be better, rather than just going every sports club has it, but just make sure that each society gets the right amount.
Steve's right. It has to be proportional. We can't sort of sit there and say it's got to be even, because each different society, each different sports team has far different requirements. Mutton's great idea of one brand, I think, could extend to not just sports teams but societies. I think we can one brand it ourselves as a university student union rather than just as a set of sports teams. So I think that's an idea that could be pushed forward, and hopefully will allow extra funds for all aspects of sports and societies at DMU.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I think it's been touched on lightly, but sponsorship's a huge part, a huge great source of income for every society, and it's quite hard, I side is, first of all, acquiring those sponsors and retaining them and prolonging the relationship. So is there anything you put in place to kind of help the sponsor, to help the relationship with the sponsor to the society?
Start with Chethan and then work your way.
Yeah, like you said of sponsorship. For sports, we can get a sponsorship from sports companies by approaching them, and for the dance and for fashion shows, as I meant, we can approach and ask sponsorship from London Fashion Festival or anything like that, or Lakme Festival, Fashion Festival, and try getting sponsorship to the university and increase the funding.
To maintain the relationship with the sponsors, Nat, you know, I've arranged once the sponsorship deals like signed is arranged like a yearly meeting or fairly biannually, a meeting with the sponsor to see if are they getting out of it what they want, and then you can slowly sort of, right, I will promote it a bit more, promote, you know, the fact you're supporting us a bit more type thing, so that they feel they're getting something out of it, so they keep sponsoring the sport teams.
I chair the lacrosse team, and I had to organise sponsors this year for my team, so I understand where it's coming from. It's very difficult to retain sponsorships and to maintain a relationship with them. I think, isn't it? If I was elected, I think it's definitely something that I'd have to take into account of looking at maintaining a relationship with myself and sponsors for clubs, making sure that they were happy, making sure that the communication lines were kept open between sports and societies, the sponsors and myself. I think if you keep that communication line open, then hopefully you can keep a good relationship going.
Thank you.
Yeah, same as Dan. I'm secretary of the rugby club, and I found out how hard it is to go out and get sponsorship. But building on this one brand idea for the sports side, we could get external funding from a big sponsor, hopefully, and that would build it, and that can get a 3-year contract or a 4-year contract, hopefully. For the societies, we look at probably trying to build on events for fashion shows, even the smallest dancing shows and stuff like that, try and get external sponsors for that as well. Even go smaller for the game society, bring them into some other sponsorship through either their only small Sonys or something like that, just to get those and build a pattern through that for like a 3-year deal.
Thank you. One more question from Adam. Thank you.
In the time I've been here, American football and lacrosse have both been formed. What would you do to encourage more students to come to you with ideas for a new sports society?
We start with William. I'm going to give you 15 seconds, just because I want to play a game afterwards.
Yeah, of course. I would promote it as much as possible. So have a campaign like, if you have an idea for a sports team or a society, come and see us, and we'll see what we can do.
Easy access to the students, and make sure that everyone comes up and show up their interest in the societies or the sports field.
Brilliant.
Yeah, probably through promotion on the DMU website and also through the media side, just to get students aware that they can form their own society, they can build on what has been already made.
Well, as part of one of the teams, I know how difficult it is to get started. So I think every candidate's had a good point. Promotion, getting participation, getting people involved, and really trying hard to push the sport forward to let people know that it's out there for them.
Thank you. Ian will have time to ask questions to his candidates. So we're going to play a little game now. We're going to start with Dan. Okay, I'm going to ask them to name a society. Each one of you have to name a society. If you get it wrong, you're out. If you make up a society, you're out. The last one in wins. Want to start?
Poker Society.
Yep.
Anime.
Yep.
Fashion society.
Yep.
Bengali Society.
Yep.
Political Society.
Yep.
Indian society.
Yep.
International Student Society.
I don't think we've got one.
Music Society.
Okay, so it's down to 3.
LGBT.
Yep.
ACS.
Yep.
History Society.
Yep.
Fashion Society.
Said before.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Down to 2. It's getting tense. No. Sudden death. Pardon?
Dance.
Yeah. All right. Well done, William. That's all from me.